Welcome back to another exciting video, and what we're talking about today is the reason or reasons I finally left Apple to go to PC. So you're probably wondering why I'm talking about computers on a music channel. Well, I can answer that. Everything we do here is on the computer, obviously. For our YouTube channel, we edit the video, we edit the sound, and of course I have a band, so we do a lot of audio recording for the band also. And for that, primarily, I've always used my MacBook Pro. Let's get this out the way. I've always used my MacBook Pro, and I've got an Apogee. I got a 2-channel interface and an 8-channel interface. And it's always been really handy because I can just pack all this stuff up, take it with me, and go and record and do what I got to do. But about 8 months ago, I started thinking it was probably time to upgrade the computers. What I used to have is I had 2 iMacs. I had an iMac and an iMac, and then I had the Apple Cinema display, and I had one here and one here, one display for each iMac. So, iMacs are all in one, so that gave me 2 monitors, of course. It wasn't too long ago that everybody was shooting in 1080p, and now 4K is the norm. And Blackmagic has a 6K camera. Several people got 6K cameras. I think Arri just put out an 8K, and Blackmagic also dropped out the Ursa Mini, which is now 12K. Now, I don't know how many of you shoot video or know anything about video, but the difference between a 4K file and a 1080p file is enormous as far as data size. And the amount of compression and everything that goes into it, when you're working on video and you're scrubbing through the timelines, the bigger the file, the more data, the harder it is to scrub, and the more resources it takes on the computer. So, since everything I shoot is in 4K currently, I'm looking to upgrade, and I'm thinking about the Blackmagic cinema camera, the 6K, keeping that one in mind. And that's probably the route I'm going to go, is with the Blackmagic 6K. But then again, the files are going to be much bigger than the 4K files. So now it's more pressure on the computer to manipulate and handle those enormously big files. So about 8 months ago, when I was down in Alabama, which is where I moved from, back up to Tennessee. When I was down in Alabama, I started thinking, you know what? Time to upgrade the old computer. Time to get rid of all the iMacs and all that stuff. And at first, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with Apple, because I've been using Apple a long time. Now, I'm not an Apple fanboy, but I'm probably as close as you can get to an Apple fanboy without admittedly being called an Apple fanboy. And it's I had my 2 iMacs and the 2 Apple Cinema displays, obviously my MacBook Pro. I've got an incredibly overpriced iPhone, one of the big ones, whichever model it is now. And of course, I've got an iPad Pro, which is also incredibly overpriced. And I've got my AirPod Pros, wherever they're at, somewhere. And of course, I got an Apple Watch. And it's, shit, I should just stop this video right now. It's kind of embarrassing. Got all this Apple stuff. So, but I'm not a fanboy though, because to me, it's a tool. And it just so happened to be that all my tools were in the Apple toolbox. So when I started looking for new computers, I thought, you know what, I'm going to check out the Apple stuff. And I started looking kind of all over the board at computers. Even though I was really kind of keying in on the Apple stuff, I really liked all the stuff going on in the PC world right now, with all the different cases and the RGB, the keyboards, the mice pad. Everything involved was just really, really nice, and I really liked it. And I'm a motorcycle rider, and we've got this saying in the motorcycle world: work on the go before you work on the show. And what that means is make your motorcycle fast, then make it look fast. Don't make it look fast when you have a slow motorcycle. Kind of defeats the purpose. So I started looking around, and I thought, you know what? I really like the RGB stuff, but I've been using Apple forever. I'm just going to go back and probably just get some more Apples. Well, that kind of got me thinking about all the things that Apple has pissed me off about over the years. And there is a lot. That is a very long and distinguished list of Apple pissing me off. And to get started, when I had my media company, of course, none of you all know this, and there's no reason for all of y'all to know, any of y'all to know this. Tell you what, let's boop, get rid of that green hue. Is I had a video production company for years, and that's what I did. That was my job. That was my business. That's what I did. Me and my wife and my daughter would all work in it. And it was getting to the point where I was going to have to make a very sizable investment into the company. And I got to be honest, that just scared the shit out of me. Because once I had made that investment, I was locked. And there was no getting out of it at that point. And that really worried me because I'm like everybody else. I like options. And obviously there's some regret that I didn't take the shot and just move full time and expand the company. But at the time, it was just scaring the hell out of me because it was quite a bit of money I was going to have to stick into it. So I went back to work. But I still do it. I still do it on the side. And actually, that's why I haven't been putting up a lot of videos lately. Because actually, these are shot lists for commercials I'm doing now for a client. So I still do a bit of video work on the side. My daughter and I. And so I started thinking about Apple and all the things they've done that kind of pissed me off over the years. And when I had my media company, we used to do website design also. And one thing I loved about designing websites is I designed a lot of websites in Flash. And a lot of people watching this video probably don't even know what Flash is. Flash was amazing, and incredibly powerful. But Flash is also a program that you would write into. And it was just awesome. And I used to make entire websites out of Flash, and they were incredibly interactive, and they were very fluid. And what I mean by that is, like, I did one for this tattoo guy, and he's the one that did the work on my arm and the work on my ex-wife. And I built him a website, and it was a slot machine. And it was really cool, and the whole thing was done in Flash. And when you logged in, you know, it came up, and then the handle would pull down the slot machine, and the wheels would start turning, and then they would stop on the name of the tattoo shop. And then the menu would pop up, and everything was very organic and very fluid and very nice, and it was smooth, and it was just beautiful. I absolutely love Flash. Well, Apple, in their infinite wisdom, they decided, well, you know what? Flash requires too many resources on the computers. Let's get away with Flash. So Apple actually stopped shipping their computer with the Flash plugins. And that's kind of what got that ball rolling. And then when you had all the Apple fanboys, and this is why I say I'm not a fanboy, because all the Apple fanboys jumped on board instantly, decided, well, Flash had to go. And that was a huge mistake, You know what? If your computer's not fast enough to run Flash, buy a faster damn computer. Problem solved. But oh, no. Apple had to just completely do away with an amazing program. Now, granted, there are languages out there today that will now take place of that. But I don't care what you're using, nothing was as easy or intuitive as Flash, because Flash had its own UI. And I didn't have to go in there and just code jQuery, code. I didn't have to do that. I could go into the software and build inside that software. And it had all the shortcuts and a lot of stuff. If you've ever used Dreamweaver, you know, there's a lot of stuff Dreamweaver will do for you. Well, Flash was the same way inside the Flash program. So that kind of really upset me they got rid of Flash. Because that is somebody dictating what the rest of us are going to have to do. And I don't like that for anybody, any reason, any way. And I've got this saying, I was talking to these kids, and trust me, it is killing me not to get on my YouTube channel and talk about politics right now. It is absolutely killing me. I love politics, and I want to get on here and just rant about everything that's going on, because it's all a bunch of BS. And it's killing me not to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I was talking to these kids that work for me, and we were kind of into a political discussion. Really didn't want to get into it with a bunch of 20-somethings because I already know where all their beliefs are. But every one of them believed the same exact thing all the way across the board, and they were totally closed-minded to any other opinion besides their own. So something came out of my mouth that was actually very profound, and it actually kind of shocked me that it just rolled out. And I said, you know something? If you and all your friends and the people you know all think alike and believe in the same thing, then chances are all of you are wrong. And one of them actually said, you know what? I've never heard anybody put it that way. And that's when I thought to myself, damn, that was really profound, dude. You just say that. But I truly believe that. Because what I meant by that is they were so close-minded, they couldn't see the other side of anything. And that's kind of how I feel about Apple. I feel Apple is very close-minded, and they can't see the other side of anything, be it right or wrong. And granted, the world went on. People came out with workarounds around Flash. But regardless, nothing today compares to what Flash could do. And I love Flash. I miss Flash. I wish Flash would come back. And don't get me wrong, there still is Flash, but it's now primarily come down to a PC thing. And very few websites are done in Flash anymore. But if you ever get a chance to find some of the old websites that are still up in Flash, check them out, and you'll see what I mean, because they're absolutely stunning, beautiful websites. And so that kind of upset me. And I've had that burn my butt for years since Apple did that, because that's always bothered me, that a company that big can change the way a populace thinks and feels about something. And I do not like that. I do not like that. But moving on. So we got rid of Flash. Okay, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Over the years, Flash disappeared. But I stayed with Apple. And, like I said, iPhone, this, that, the other, so on, so on, so on. So I started looking for computers, like I said, and I was just going to move on to, because I know Apple's got the new Mac Pro out, the big aluminum chassis one. And when I was taking 3D modeling, that's what we used were the old Mac Pros. And of course, they run the Xeon processors, and they're running the Xeon processors again today because they're just freaking great processors. So I got on there and, like I said, started looking around at computers, and I just kept coming across all this just really cool RGB stuff for PCs. Just tons and tons and tons of stuff. Well, it just so happened that one of my buddies, the guy that's in the video with me with the Chinese Wolfgang, he was an Apple guy too, and he made the switch to PC, and he was showing me some of the stuff he was getting. He was buying the Razer stuff, and it was just cool. It was just seriously cool, and it had the go, and it had the show, and I like that. And, if I buy 10,000 Apple MacBooks, my stuff's plugged in, they're all going to look like this. Every one of them. And this is, don't get me wrong, this is a cool computer. Aluminum, it's sleek, design, fashionable. But they all look the same, and I don't want to buy the same car every time I buy a car, the same color, and just do the same thing over and over and over and over. I wanted to change it up a little bit. I want a little bit of spice in my PC life. That'd actually be a good title for a book. A little bit of spice in my PC life. I need to file that one away and keep that. I digress. Moving on. So as I got on there looking, I thought, I'm just going to jump onto the Apple. I'm just going to stay with Apple because I got a lot of software that already works with my Apple stuff, and got to rebuy this, rebuy that, and I didn't want to get into that, so I'll just stay with Apple. So I start looking around, and let's see here, bada bing, bada boom. I start looking around, and I shoot over to Apple's website, and I'm looking at because I want to check out the new Mac Pros. Now, I had one of the old Mac Pros when they made the black cylinder ones. They were garbage, absolute junk, and I had to check my time here, because, I'm on a time limit. And they were junk. I had one of those, and every time I opened up Premiere or After Effects, the entire thing would crash, and I mean crash. The entire computer would crash. I called Apple. It was the AMD graphics cards. I'm an NVIDIA guy, but I called Apple, and Apple pretty much, what do you want us to do about it? Use different software. Well, no. Why don't you make a computer that works with the software I use? Because last time I checked, I wasn't here to appease you. I'm the consumer. You're here to appease me. But that's not how Apple thinks. Apple thinks you are there to appease them. This is another big problem I've got with Apple. So as I move on, I jump onto the Apple website. I'm looking at here, okay, Mac Pro. It's beautiful, aluminum, big, chunky, masculine looking. I like it, I like it, I like it. Click over to it. Starting price for the Mac Pro Tower, $5,999. Are you kidding me? $6,000 for this computer. Okay. That does not come with a monitor. So If I'm going to buy an Apple computer, I want an Apple monitor. That's just, and to me, that's just how it works. So I thought, well, let's go look at the cinema displays. Well, they no longer make the cinema displays. Now they got the Pro Display XDR with standard glass and the Pro Display XDR nano texture glass. Well, let's just get the cheap one, the standard glass. It is $4,999. If I wanted the texture glass, that is a $1,000 option on top of it, which makes it $5,999. There is no way in hell I'm paying $6,000 for a monitor. Period. I don't know who would pay $6,000 for a monitor. It's 5K. It's got beautiful color. I don't care. I simply don't care. I can buy color accurate monitors for video editing that don't cost $6,000. I can buy, and I don't need one that's 5K necessarily. 4K would work pretty good. Even if I'm shooting in 6K, 4K is going to work. And here's the kick in the ass. After it's all said and done, I'm still going to render it down to 1080p to put up on YouTube. And it's going to be so damn compressed that a lot of it is not going to matter that much anyway, because it's going to compress the hell out of it when you stick it down into an MP4 for YouTube. No way. $11,000? No way. Not doing it. $12,000 if I get the high-end one. Okay, that's insane. I'm not buying that. That's crazy. That's more. That $12,000 is more than my 2 iMacs with my 2 cinema displays, with my MacBook Pro, with my iPad Pro, my iPhone, my watch, and my AirPod Pro. That one computer costs more than all that. So, no. I'll go back to an iMac. They got the iMac Pros out now. And I gotta admit, I did like my iMacs, and they were durable. I mean, I never had any problems out of them. I gotta admit. So, I'll go back to an iMac Pro. So I shoot over to the iMac Pro. Okay, 3 gigahertz, 10 core. Cool. Xeon processor, even cooler. Xeon processor, good processors. And it's a 10 core. I like that. 10 core, 32 gigabytes of RAM. Very good. It's got a 1 terabyte SSD. Love it, love it, love it. It's got the Radeon Pro Vega 56 with 8 gigabytes of memory. I do not like that. I am an NVIDIA guy simply because I know with the software I use, I can use the NVIDIA CUDA cores and to speed up my software, and I do not have issues with that. When I had the old Apple Pro, I had nothing but issues out of it. Okay, cool. 27-inch 5K display. Okay, cool. I can deal with all that. What's the price of this dude? $4,999 for one. And then if I go back with the Apple display, that's another $5,000 on top of it. So now I'm at $10,000. So if I go this route, I save $2,000. Who thinks like that? If I go with a cheaper computer, I'm still spending $10,000, but I'm saving $2,000. Give me a break. Apple is on drugs. They are absolutely on drugs. I am not spending this kind of money on these computers. Yes, it is a tool, but everything has to have a limit. Just like guitars. Guitars have gotten so insanely overpriced and, no. Video for another day. Video for another day. So, I move on. Okay, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'll just go back with a regular old Mac. I know I can get those on a quad core. Let's see what we got. So I shoot over to the regular iMac. 21.5-inch display. A little smaller than what I like. It's 4K. Pretty cool. I can dig with that. 3.6 gigahertz quad core. Quad's a little weak. And it has an i3 processor. Oh, even weaker. It's got a Radeon Pro 555X with 2 gigabytes of, give me a break. 2 gigabytes of video. Absolutely worthless in today's world. Absolutely worthless. If you are not running, I'm looking. If you are not running, you need to have at least 4 gigabytes. 8 is pretty much the minimum in today's computer world. It does have a 1 terabyte SSD, blah, 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 blah. $18.99. Okay, that's for $18.99. That's not enough computer for $18.99. So for $300, I can bump that up to the 3.2 6-core i7 processor. But I'm still at 6 cores. I really want 8. With the demands of video today, you got to have 8 cores with hyperthreading. You got to have it, got to have it, got to have it. So I thought, you know what? No, that's just not going to do it. So maybe I should just start looking at PCs. And that's a tough decision for me because I've been using Apple for so long. Well, when I started thinking about it, I started looking again at all the cool RGB stuff coming out. And here's a picture of what my computer looks like right now. You got to admit, that's pretty damn cool. And so I know I can get the go part, but you know what? I think I kind of want the show part also. And I'm not seeing the show part on Macs. How much individuality do you need in a computer? Well, you know what? Damn it, I want some. It's called personal preference. I want some individuality in my computer. When people come in, I want them to look at my computer and say, dude, that's badass. Hell, even on my channel, people have commented, man, I love your computer. I love your keyboard, this, that, the other, and all that stuff. So that got me thinking. And then, like I said, my buddy, he's a big computer gamer. And so he started playing these just really badass games. I went to his house to check him out. And I thought, man, this is seriously cool. Can't get any of them from Mac. Come on, man, what's going on here? What is going on? Then I started thinking about the price of the Macs, and I thought, God, what the hell is Apple doing? So then I thought, well, maybe I should just go back with MacBook Pros because I've used them forever. I've still got mine here. I like the MacBook Pro, so maybe I should just do that. So I go in there and I jump into the MacBook Pro, and bada bing, bada boom. So I'm checking them out, and the MacBook Pro starts at $23.99. Okay, that's a lot of money, but actually, for a really good laptop, that's about where you're going to go. I paid $26 for this one, and it's a quad core. So I got to thinking, okay, I might be able to go that route. But then, $23.99. I'd want to get the Apple monitor. Granted, I could use a different monitor, and I could find one of the old display monitors. I could probably do that. But then it got me thinking about the next damn thing. I started looking at it. The computer. Let me unplug some stuff here. So, I'm looking at that new computer, and it has 4 Thunderbolt ports. And that's it. 4 Thunderbolts. Now, this is my old MacBook Pro. It's a i7 quad core, 2 gigabytes of video RAM. Yeah, I know it's weak. But it's been a damn good computer. But, let's look here. I have an SDHC port. I have an HDMI port. I have a USB 3 port. Spin it around. I have Thunderbolt, USB, and of course, headphone jack. So, on the new one, I have 4 ports, all of one kind. On the old one, I've got 6 ports, 3 different kinds. So that kind of took me down the damn road of Flash again. Here we go again. They're getting rid of all the ports. Now we have to use Thunderbolt. And that means I got to buy adapters. Now, is that a big deal? No. But that's just something else I'm going to lose over time. Because now I got to have an HDMI adapter. I got to have a USB adapter on top of it. And now I got to have an SDHC adapter on top of it. Which isn't that big a deal because I've got one for my PC. But it's simply the fact that now they're doing away with all the ports. And again, they're telling me what I need to be doing, and I do not like that at all. I do not like them doing that. That really pisses me off. I started thinking about my Apple products besides computers. I just did the iOS 14 update because I got last year's phone. And I can pretty much say without a shadow of a doubt, it sucks. It's terrible. This library thing we got on there, what's the point in that? All the apps I use are right there on my home screen. The dictation on Apple products is getting so freaking bad, it is almost unusable. So I call Apple. Hey bro, what's up with the dictation on Siri? It sucks. He's like, what do you mean it sucks? I said, dude, it's terrible. Everything I dictate comes out some completely different damn message. The guy actually said to me, well, we haven't had any complaints. I said, that is impossible. I said, I am on the internet right now looking at it. And dude, there are thousands of threads already about iOS 14 and how bad the dictation is. So I find it kind of hard to believe that nobody's complained about it, that I'm actually the first in the entire world. And then I said, but I'm pretty sure you probably never heard the big screw Apple did on everybody when they dumbed down the phones to make us all buy new phones. Dude had nothing to say after that. And actually, I went to the Apple store when that happened because I had an iPhone 6 at the time. Dude, I went there and lit that dude up, and that dude denied it every step of the way. And this was after the government had filed a lawsuit against Apple. And I even told him, I said, dude, what about the lawsuit? The government's filed against Apple for this very reason, and they got nothing to say. So there again, if everybody believes, thinks, and feels the same exact thing, chances are they're all wrong. And I kind of believe that about the guys in Apple. Because if they truly believe that that wasn't true, that Apple did not do that, that makes them all idiots, for lack of a better term. Or they absolutely knew Apple did it and they were just lying. Which one? I have no idea. Regardless, neither one was cool. So I just started thinking, I think I'm going to start to get to the point where I'm done with Apple. And I've been using Apple products. I guess the first one I started using was the old Macintosh, the little beige box. I had one of those. And I had one of the G series that come in like blueberry and all that. Those were cool. And see, that's what I mean, individuality. They come in all those really cool ass colors. They were kind of funky looking, but they worked. And the colors were just fantastic. And now we've gone to this totalitarian gray aluminum on everything. And it's just the company that used to pride themselves on not being Big Brother. Because I don't know if you ever remember the commercial, the 1984 commercial from George Orwell that they actually played. I remember watching that during the Super Bowl all those years ago, and it was cool. Apple breaking down the barrier, stepping outside the box, shooting for the moon, going for the gold, taking the bull by the horns. I liked it. I thought that was cool. And that's kind of what got me on Apple, to be honest with you. But now, everything that Apple hated, Apple has become. The circle of life, my friend. Circle of life. You start here, you go all the way around. The son of a bitch if you don't end up right back here. Again. So, Siri is now just garbage. Siri's just terrible. And I think the operating system is getting terrible. And even on the operating systems on Mac, on Apple, I think the best one they ever did was Snow Leopard. I thought Snow Leopard was a brilliant operating system. And my favorite operating system. And I got a lot of friends who are diehard Apple fanboys. And they swear by Snow Leopard, swear by it. And they agree that Dude, come on, put an exhaust on your car, bro. Spend $100. How hard is that? Jesus, you hear that? More idiots. Completely lost my thought because of that retard. Can I say retard? Are we allowed to say retard anymore? Hell, I don't even know. In this PC world I live in, I don't even know what I'm allowed to say anymore. Word of microaggressions. Oh my God, just head was to explode. I can't believe I live in a world that microaggression is actually a word. It's actually a thing. That bothers me. Damn, a lot of things bother me. I just need to do a video on things that bother me because a lot of things bother me today. But anyway, I digress again. I think every operating system since Snow Leopard has gotten subsequently worse. Just like iOS has gotten subsequently worse. And they're trying to make it so smart that they're actually doing more damage than good. I just really don't see a whole lot of innovation happening in the Apple world anymore. They haven't done anything. When they made the iPhone, me and my buddy Spence, we went down and we bought the very first one. They were junk. I had 7 of them, believe it or not. I had to send 6 of them back. And of course, the Apple always sends you refurbs. You never get a new one back. But over time, they mastered it, and then everybody copied them. I dig that. And the innovation that they had did change the world. For better or worse, it did change the world. I just don't see anything miraculous coming out of Apple. And like I said, as much as I hate Samsung, it truly seems Samsung is 2 or 3 steps ahead of them right now on their phones and their tablets and stuff. And honestly, it wouldn't be hard to bury Apple in the phone industry. And what amazes me, because everybody's, cameras. And they're pretty good, I gotta admit. The phone cameras are getting pretty good. But you want to bury Apple? Seriously? Just put a CMOS chip inside of a damn phone. The first company that comes to market with a CMOS chip is going to bury every other phone out there. Because now you've actually got a real camera you can actually use. Do you know how many true video cameras out there use a CMOS chip? It's a pretty damn popular chip. It's roughly equivalent, to a Super 35. So, which is in the camera I'm buying, the 6K Blackmagic is a Super 35 chip. It's a little bigger than a CMOS. So the first person that does that, they're going to rule the roost. I can't believe nobody hasn't done that yet. They just need to call me, you know. Apparently I've got more ideas than Apple has right now. But I got back. I wanted the coolness. So, in light of me not going back to Apple, yes, I still have my iMac, and I probably won't get rid of it because it still works fine for what I need it for, but I do not do any more video editing or anything on it. I only do audio recording on this. Every once in a while, when I got this one rendering, I will jump on it and make something, because I've got all my software on here too, but it is substantially slower than my PC that I'm sitting in front of right now. This PC, let's talk about this. This is an 8-core i7 8th gen. This is got a 2060 Super 8GB video card, which I'm actually getting ready to drop a 3070 into it because the prices on video cards have come down substantially over the 2080 Ti, which was, I don't know, $13, $14, $1,500 billion. And I believe you can get the 3070 now for $800. So I'm going to jump onto the 3070, snatch this 2080 out of here, and probably build another computer for my daughter or something. I don't know. Give it to her. She'll like it. And I've got the seriously cool case with my RGB fans. It is glass. I can see through it. I like that. I like being able to see what's going on inside my computer. And I can add the RGB ribbons to it, which I'm going to do simply because I've got to go. Now I want the show. I want it to look cool. I got my Rocat keyboard, which I absolutely love. This is a mechanical gaming keyboard. Very, very light switches on it. And this is one thing I think is really cool about it. This sound is added. I love that. Absolutely love that. And the cool thing about this is the lights are actually in the switch. The bottom of the switch is clear, and it has caps on top. You know, the flat caps like on here. It's got these type of caps on top. So it lights up extremely, extremely bright. And it's Rocat, and I love Rocat stuff. I have my Rocat RGB mouse, which is very, very cool. Tracks unbelievably well. The software for Rocat is amazing, and the lighting effects they have is seriously cool. This was actually a Razer Huntsman Elite, and believe it or not, the Razer wasn't bright enough. The switches didn't light up, because you know all the switches have alternate keys. You know, like if you got the comma, it has the little arrow on the bottom, and I couldn't see it in the dark because the switches were not light enough. The lights were not light enough. So I got rid of that and got the Rocat. I'm very glad I did. I like the Rocat better. And so I've got my my Kony Amo mouse. I think that's how you pronounce it, Kony. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it is Rocat also. It is very, very good stuff. I do have a Razer Hard RGB my RGB mouse pad, which I absolutely love. I've got an Asus 4K 28-inch monitor, which actually is fantastic. It is much better than I thought it was going to be. For sound in here, all I use is I got me a little Bose SoundLink, because I don't use studio monitors, because when I am mixing music, I've got Bose headphones here, but I mix in my AKG headphones. So I do not do monitors. I used to have them on my desk, and I never turned the damn things on, so I got rid of them. Sold them out. Boom! I had some Yamahas, and they were good, but I don't need them. They're out of here. So, not counting the headphones. Well, gee, Trace, that's a pretty damn nice computer. Well, it is. Thank you. It's got some pretty good power too. Well, yes, it does. 28-inch monitor, cool ass keyboard, mouse pad, everything cool, cool, cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. Badass computer. Well, shit, that must have cost you a fortune. $2,200 in all of it. $2,200. I'm gonna say that again. $2,200. So I could buy, I don't know, 4 of these for the price of that one Mac Pro. And I got to be honest, I think I'd rather have 4 of these than the one Mac Pro. Got to be honest again, I actually do like the new Windows. Back in the day when I used PCs, is back in Windows 3.1, and I bet you 99% of the people watching this video will have no idea what I'm talking about. But that is when Windows was DOS based. It was awesome. It was cool. It was powerful. I loved Windows 3.0. Powerful for the day. Don't get me wrong now. And it was just cool. And the stuff we could do on PCs was amazing. And you still can do amazing stuff on a PC, but now it's no longer DOS based. Now it is Windows based, and DOS actually piggybacks on Windows, to where Windows used to piggyback on top of DOS. So, $2,200 for all this, including the SoundLink. $2,200. So in my world, this is a win-win. I've got the Go. I definitely got the Show. It looks seriously cool, even with my little desk, so I can, come on, boop, I can change my lights. I can scroll my lights, stroll my lights, do whatever I want to do with my lights. Let's go with an orange. Nope, let's try purple. Yeah, that looks almost like blue, doesn't it? Let's go lavender. Lavender doesn't look too bad. But you know what? At the end of the day, just make the shit white. Got my remote too. So, $2,200 for all of it. In this world, that is a bargain. I can hardly buy a very good guitar for $2,200. The best sub $200 guitar I've ever bought is my Ibanez 1070 PBZ. I have a review on it. Check it out. It is cool. And then, of course, the 5030 Ibanez, it was $2,000. But that's about it. Any other really good guitar you want is going to be over that price, especially when you're getting an in-brand guitar. And what I mean by that is an American guitar made in America or a Japanese guitar made in Japan, not one of the Korean guitars or Indonesian guitars and all that stuff. But $2,200 for all this, and this thing is an absolute beast. I can scrub my 4K video in After Effects. It renders freaking spot on. The rendering is fantastic. I can watch everything in full res, even though I do cut it down to half res still. I think just because I got in the habit of doing that, but everything just works faster in half res, but it works fantastic in full res. I have no problems with playback. It's not crashing on me like my Apple did when I use my software. I can use my CUDA cores. Everything on it works fantastically for $2,200. So, that's kind of my bitch and my my rant on Apple and why I left Apple for PC. Bought this 6 months ago. I wanted to wait to make sure that I absolutely like this computer before I made this video, and I gotta be honest, I love my PC. I absolutely love it. I have no regrets buying this whatsoever. I have no regrets making that transition away from Apple either. Probably gonna hang on to my MacBook Pro until it dies. Or in all honesty, I may end up replacing this with like a Razer and probably just give this one to my daughter, which is probably what I'll end up doing. I'll give this to her. I won't get rid of this because this has been a damn good laptop. Never had a problem out of it. As far as my phones and my watch and all that stuff, am I going to migrate from Apple? I don't know, because I do know that Google tracks everything you do on your phone. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I actually watched on TV, and the guy said, you know when you get your phone and you accept the terms of service? And this was a dude from Google. He said you might want to read that. And that got me thinking. If he's saying I might want to read that, the chances are, I mean, we all already know they data mine all your stuff and they sell it off. We already know that. Shit. I mean, everybody knows that in the world. Apple probably does too, probably, but not to the extent. And the only reason I stay with Apple phones is because they would not give the FBI authority to crack that phone. And I appreciate that, because once you open the door for the government to do that, that means they're doing it across the board and you just lost your right to it. So that is one of the reasons why I'm still sticking with Apple phones. But as far as Apple computers, I think I'm out. I think I'm done. I think I've just turned back to a PC dude and losing my almost fanboy hoodship, if that's a word. So on that note, if you have any comments, please put it in the comments section. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. Please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, this is kind of an odd video for me to do, but this is just kind of something I wanted to get off my chest. And like I said, it's killing me not to talk politics on here, because I would love nothing more to get in here and get into this battle that's going on right now. But I'm not going to do it. But the reason I did this is because I do use this for video editing for my YouTube channel and for business. And I use my computers for audio also for my band. So this is kind of why I'm leaving. The prices have gotten just astronomically crazy with Apple. And you know what? I'm kind of getting bummed down on the styling cues after all these years. So once again, please subscribe to the channel. Normally I would say strap up that guitar, practice hard, play hard, and rock hard, but this is not about a guitar. So now I'm just going to say, figure out what your computer needs are and get what you need, not what everybody else is telling you to get. So if all your friends are saying buy Apple, chances are they're all wrong. Buy a PC. Until then, rock on.